Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode. This is Founders Club. I'm your host, Des DaCosta, and today I have a very special guest with us. Jeremy is a powerhouse in real estate development, a decorated U.S. Navy veteran, and CEO of Yost Management Services. Jeremy, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. It's an honor to be here.
Of course. Now, before we dive into real estate, I want to go back to your history. How did your time in the Navy really shape the leader you are today? And how do those values show up in your work now?
So my time in the Navy definitely it instilled a deep sense of discipline, accountability, and adaptability. Because when you're in the service, you've got to have that discipline. They've got high expectations, and then you've got to be able to adapt it to change. So leading into high pressure environments, it taught me the importance of, clear communication, um, decisive action, and always putting the mission first. And that includes your team as well. All of those principles and kind of guided me to where I am today and the leader that I am today with my team. And supporting them through different challenges. The Navy shaped me into how to focus and really hone in on certain solutions, how to remain calm under pressure, and never ask others to do something that I wouldn't do myself. Because if there's anything that in today's world that I expect of my team, I would do it too.
That's wonderful. Yeah, and talking about having to work under a lot of pressure, you've developed affordable housing projects under incredibly tight timelines. I mean, I've looked at a few projects that you've worked on now. What systems do you use to streamline your developments without sacrificing that quality or community impact for that matter?
I think our development team is innovative development partners, and we use the same general contractor who's built for our family for over 30 years, see how construction out of Cobden, Illinois. And it comes down to experience, preparation, and your strong partnerships. So you have to approach every single deal with a clear plan, a trusted network of subcontractors, and a deep understanding of the compliance requirements because there's so much red tape. And so efficiency doesn't necessarily mean sacrificing the quality. It means anticipating all those challenges before they happen because something is always going to change. And you just have to make sure that your leveraging systems are in place, your streamline is in place, and you focus on delivering high quality, long lasting housing that serves the communities well beyond the ribbon cutting.
Yeah.
And so I think all of those lead into, not cutting corners, building a sound, solid development. And the years that we have allows us to pick from different developments, master the type of housing we want to build. And our main focus is duplex style communities. So we can build a 56 unit development in 6 to 8 months or something smaller. Most recent, I did a deal in Mattoon, Illinois, which is in East Central Illinois. We did 25 one bedrooms and built that in 89 days.
Yes, yes, that's the one that I definitely saw. That one that really is so impressive amongst all your other impressive projects as well. You mentioned red tape. What would you say are the biggest regulatory barriers that you see that are slowing down affordable housing in the United States?
So nationwide, there is so many layers of approval
Okay.
between federal, state, and the local level. So you start out with the local level, you have to pitch your development. You have to make sure that there's a need. So finding all of that, your zoning, environmental reviews, then you go to the state and federal level with your tax credit allocation. So you get the federal low income housing tax credit that gets issued to each state. So for Illinois, it's the Illinois Housing Development Authority. So all this oversight is extremely important, but the process can be very complex and time consuming. A deal that you submit and you find out you get an approval the following, essentially the following year,
Okay.
and then you have to go through the due diligence to close with the state to make sure all the state and federal compliance is in place. And so to be able to streamline without compromising the accountability, um, is just making sure you've got the team in place, where you've got a great legal team that's in constant contact with the state and federal powers that be, and have that open communication, so then everybody can be accountable for their part in getting the job finished. And so I feel that, to make this process better, the key is communication and your team working together. That really streamlines everything.
Yeah. No, it sounds like you have an amazing team and you do rely heavily on the trust between you and them and all your different departments working together. Now, we have encountered another variable here, which is our economic state of the United States and how those might actually be impacting certain, um, you know, necessary things and costs of construction, for example, materials to build. How do you balance the rising costs of construction and materials with the urgent need for accessible housing and still make these projects, financially viable?
Yeah, so that's a great question. Um, every single developer, no matter what type of housing or what type of real estate they're building, commercial, home builders, hospitality, anywhere, everybody's feeling it. The number one focus that I feel you can do is value engineering. So you have to look at prioritizing the materials and the design, and check out the durability and efficiency of what's necessary, what's unnecessary. You don't necessarily have to get the most expensive thing. You can, bid out your items and get the best cost, so that way you're not necessarily going bottom tier, top tier. You find the best product that's gonna be the most bang for your buck. So a lot of that's going to be collaborating with your subcontractors, your suppliers, lock in your pricing to avoid any extra surpluses that, or not surpluses, surprises that's going to hurt you negatively for your budget. We also pursue creative financing tools. So anywhere where we can get grants, utilize tax credits, whether that be state donation credits, historic credits, utilizing those to bridge any gap is so important, to be able to handle the rising costs, and keep the developments affordable. So it's just a balance of smart planning and financial strategy.
Yeah.
And each year is different. I think now we're seeing costs slightly going down, but comparable from today to 2021, costs have definitely gone down a little bit, but we're still not out of the ballpark yet. So I'm hoping that pricing will continue to drop and get better. That will definitely help the affordable housing world.
Great. Okay. Well, you definitely help so many people with the projects that you put together. So many different walks of life are able to have a better quality of life, in fact, by what you do. And you serve on multiple boards, to basically tackle these areas that you need to bridge these gaps in. And you've served on multiple boards related to aging populations as well and assisted living. How do you see the future of senior housing evolving, and what innovations are you most excited about?
You know, I think we're going to see a growing focus in years to come of aging in place. I think creating communities that offer more flexibility with wellness and connection rather than just care. Technology is changed the whole world, and I think technology is going to change real estate, including with senior care. Technology is going to help support independence. It's going to design a shift towards more resident-centered environments, and I'm excited to see that redefining of senior housing. We're already utilizing tools that you see in assisted livings and memory care communities of cognitive games to improve um, cognition. And I think we're only going to see more and moving beyond just traditional models to create space where seniors can truly thrive, both socially and physically. And
That's
I think that shift is not far off.
That's wonderful. Okay, so just so I understand correctly, you're not just creating housing for, older populations, but you're creating spaces in which they're functional to help maybe redevelop or stimulate their cognitive abilities.
Yes. So, uh, for example, in our assisted livings that we have, in Illinois, we do the supportive living facility program, and which that caters to all income levels, where you've got so many units that are market rate, but then you've got units that are also Medicaid eligible, which helps individuals of all areas of income. So in our community rooms, we have uh, centers set up where we've got computer with large TV screens, and we're able to have games set up for cognitive purposes for the seniors, so that way they are utilizing their brain, they're utilizing logic and help stimulating their brain. And I think this is going to come on full swing nationwide and only get bigger, to where eventually I think 10-15 years down the road, when you get into independent living to supportive living to memory care or skilled nursing, these types of settings are probably going to be in every individual unit. It'll just be part of, the package of renting and having that at their fingertips. And that's where I feel like seniors will truly start thriving. And, like I said, aging in place, they have everything that they need and to be able to utilize and truly be the best that they can be at
Yeah.
that part of life.
Wow. No, I really think that's wonderful work, really. That's, something that's near and dear to me as well, as far as like something that I care about or think is important for us to keep focusing on is how do we ensure that our elders are well taken care of. So I think that's wonderful. And looking ahead with everything that you're involved in right now, I really want to know, what legacy do you hope to leave, not just in real estate or developments, but in the communities that you serve and the people that your work touches?
First and foremost, I may get a little emotional here, but one, I want to be known as a good dad. I love my daughter and my son. They're my pride and joy. I work extremely hard to provide a wonderful life for them. So if anything, first, that it was that I was a good dad. But in terms of some form of legacy, you know, I hope to leave a legacy that, of impactful developments that have improved lives, where communities can look back and families have found stability, seniors feel like they've been supported, and individuals can build better futures. They've got into affordable housing where they may not have had the chances that everybody else have had. They had an opportunity to get back on their feet, building themselves better, and just want to be remembered for driving projects that made a difference, advocating for housing equity, and creating opportunities that didn't exist before.
Jeremy, that was awesome. I just want to thank you so much for your time. You're so amazing. When I
Thank
first
you.
saw the project that we first connected on, the development in which you put up in 89 days, I was just immediately intrigued to learn more about you. So thank you so much for taking the time today, and I can't wait to
Thank
see.
you for having me.
Absolutely.